This is World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with your host, Carl Gruber. World Awakenings is a podcast dedicated to opening your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how they play an all-important role in our daily life. So join Carl on this enlightening experience as he interviews metaphysical and spiritual experts to discuss, debate, and delve deeply into the hows and whys of this worldwide awakening.
You've seen and read my 3 Pillars ebook, and now I'm proud to announce my new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship, and it's now out and ready for reading. This new book of mine is a full-length version of the teachings of the 3 Pillars, and in it I show you how to walk in the integrity of eternal universal laws, in step with the law of attraction to consistently create the life you desire. Now, if you've ever wondered just why you can't consistently manifest all the good, loving, abundant, healthy, and happy things you desire, my new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, will reveal the key in how to do just that. Plus, help you build a rock-solid personal foundation that will stand strong for the ages. Get your copy today. My new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship by Carl Gruber. Available now in ebook and paperback on Amazon.com. Time for yet another awesome episode of this podcast, World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment. Now, we continue our relentless pursuit of trying to find out why now more than ever the people of the world are awakening to all things spiritual, enlightening, and metaphysical. This is the show where you get to meet and talk one-on-one with some of the world's top experts, teachers, and masters to help shed the light and understanding on this topic. Now, before we head off to meet today's guest, I would truly appreciate it if you would take a moment to check out my brand new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship. A book I wrote to help you create a rock-solid personal foundation for your life so that you can become a consistent co-creator with the universe to create the life you really want to live. And who doesn't want that, right? And it's now available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback. Just click the link below to get your copy today. Also, please take a quick moment to click the subscribe button to this channel so you never miss a single episode. Now, in today's show, we head on over to England and speak with an amazing young lady, Leanne Rose. Leanne has experienced quite a bit in her short time here on Earth, surviving a near-death experience as a youngster to now becoming the channel for our extraterrestrial friends known as the Galayla Collective. And she is now also a teacher of what she calls multidimensional manifestation via the 6th dimension. So we're really excited to now welcome Leanne Rose and the Galayla Collective to the show. Welcome, Leanne.
Thank you, Carl. Thanks for having us. I'm very, very excited.
Oh my gosh, so am I, and we were talking a little bit earlier. I had seen you on another podcast and I said, whoa, I got to get this young lady on the show here. And thank you for being here. As I mentioned before we came on, I really would like myself to find out more and our viewers and listeners to find out what's going on with Leanne Rose. I mean, you've had a really interesting ride so far in a body called Leanne Rose. Tell us about it.
I definitely have. That's one way of putting it. So as you mentioned, the near-death experience that started when I was around 3 months old, as far as I'm aware. I had a seizure in the bath and I drowned. I was temporarily dead for all intents and purposes. And the paramedic had to bring me back to life. So obviously I don't really remember that. But what my guides have showed me about that experience, it's something I always thought was a little bit odd and maybe a little bit special. And they showed me that because I was exposed to the energies of the universe at such a young age, particularly before the part of my brain that is involved with language was fully developed, I'm able to relate to energy in a different way to most people. And I'm able to utilize it in a way that's a little bit different to most people. And I'm not entirely sure of the details around that, because obviously I'm not sure how other people relate to energy. But the Galayla Collective show me that is a part of why I'm able to channel them the way I do, and why I'm able to create tools such as, like you said, the 6-dimensional manifestation. So that's how life started.
Whoa, so you said that happened when you were 3?
3 months old.
Oh, 3 months old.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And of course, at that age, we generally don't remember, I'm sure you connected to all that is at that time, but at 3 months old, even then, such an experience. I'm sure it's in your own consciousness somewhere, but on the surface, you don't remember it.
Yes. And so I think that's it helps me to really, I bring through that energy a lot when I'm teaching. I bring through a lot of that stuff when I'm channeling, and I connect with that stuff, from my human self. We call that element the multidimensional self. And so I'm much more able to create that bridge. It's more accessible for me, I think, than for most people. And I'm able to give language to that, to then help others build a bridge to their multidimensional self. So that was the important piece that the Galayla Collective showed me, is that it's very important for me to be able to give language to that, so that other people can create that bridge for themselves, because we're all connected to that, every single one of us.
Boy, yeah, I've explored that extensively on this show. So in your personal life, I mean, many times the greatest disbelievers in our life are the people close to us. Yes. So when it came about that you started to display these abilities that you have as a channeler and understanding energy and things, how did that affect your personal life within your family?
So that's a very interesting question. I've always been into kind of like spirituality and the woo-woo stuff. And my family just used to kind of laugh that off a little bit and say I was a little bit weird, but I enjoyed it enough to just be like, okay, you can think that, that's so good. But always had a lot of love for their perspective as well. And I understand that a lot of people hold fear around that stuff. And so a lot of it was me kind of, I mean, I don't know if you experienced this as well. Sometimes I used to keep that element of me small when I was around those people, like around family. It was actually when my channeling ability, so my trance channeling didn't come online until last year, but my ability to channel in general happened spontaneously around 6 or 7 years ago. And that actually, what I'm starting to realize now, I was in a relationship at the time, a long-term relationship, and that then became the beginning of the end for that relationship, because I was starting to step more into my power, and he was very fearful of that and tried to squash it a little bit. So that was quite difficult, but ultimately it was a very beautiful learning experience for me to reclaim elements of myself in all of that. In terms of stigma from my family, I don't tend to get much of that anymore. I think that's much more about me being able to hold that element of me with a lot more certainty, I think, and they respond to that in my energy field and don't feel the need to comment on it as much as they used to when I was uncertain of myself around that stuff.
Well, and when you get to a point like that, I think you did the right thing. You have to stand up and take a hold of your personal power and follow your life purpose. And that is, but one last thing, because I would like to bring in your friends here in a little bit. Tell us more about this spontaneous experience. What was the situation there? How'd that come about?
Yeah, so I was meditating. So I'd been meditating for a little while on and off. I kind of got into spirituality via yoga. I was trying to love my body a little bit more. And so I was kind of doing it through movement practices, and I was a rubbish meditator. I was saying this to a friend a while, but I was so rubbish. I kept falling asleep all the time, and I would judge myself quite harshly for not being able to do those things. But this particular day, I was just attempting to meditate, and all of a sudden, I had this bizarre sensation. My eyes flew open, but it wasn't me opening them, if that makes sense. I just had this sensation of them opening, and they were looking. So I had this sensation that my consciousness had moved to the back of my head, and there was something else looking out of my eyes, which is a little bit strange.
Yeah.
But I actually felt really, really peaceful. And I almost had it was like a quiet sense of, now I have this language for it. I'm now sensing, it was like a quiet sense of internal power, connection to this beautiful energy of presence, just huge amounts of presence in a way I'd never ever experienced before. And then as quickly as it came, it went. And I was left thinking, what was that? I've had no idea to describe what that was. And then every once in a while after that, I would get this like a pulsing sensation in my third eye, in my forehead. And it was like this huge buildup of pressure, so much so that at one point I was like, is my head going to explode? It felt so much, it felt like so much pressure building up. And then that sensation will come over me again of this being looking out of my eyes and just holding me in this energy of real presence. And after a little while, I ended up speaking to it was a lady that channels another entity called Zach, who is amazing, and people should definitely check them out. But he told me, what you're doing is channeling, and you're just not aware that that's what it is that you're doing. And so I went and trained myself to be able to control that ability. But when I was when I was learning how to do it, I still didn't believe that I was doing it, if that makes sense. So when the energies are kind of coming out of my mouth, I was like, oh, this is just me. I'm just making it up. And this is how we all start. So if anybody's, practicing with this stuff, it's how we all start. We all think that we're making it up. And I remember being really distinctive about, right, I need to know that this isn't me. I need to know that this is real. Give me an experience that shows me it's real. And so I was at this beautiful channeling extravaganza, they call it, where we're all learning channeling together. And it was just so beautifully orchestrated. I was with these two beautiful souls, just a gorgeous representation of divine feminine and masculine energy. I felt so safe with them, was channeling. And then suddenly I kind of blacked out. And when I came to, I could hear screaming, and it took me a while to realize that it was me screaming, which sounds horrific, but it really was the experience that I needed. My body was completely convulsing. I vibrated off the chair that I was sitting on. And was, at this point, my human was getting a little bit fearful. The two gorgeous people I was with obviously helped me to ground, helped me to relax, helped me to get settled, helped me to come back into my body. And it was that experience that really shifted my life, because I was like, okay, now I know it's real. Now I know that I am a channel, and I am allowing this to move through me, because I know that definitely wasn't me. So that was the defining moment for me. And then the Galayla Collective came through not so long ago, about a year ago. Now, no, less than a year ago now. And that was when I was like, I've always wanted to trans channel. Once I realized I could channel, I always wanted to trans channel, but didn't think it was possible, until one day they just stepped in, and that was it.
What you're experiencing is, the question of this show, or the mission, is to find out about enlightenment, awakening, spiritual awakening, metaphysics. Just maybe 10 or 12 years ago, you hardly ever found any channelers. I mean, podcasts are somewhat new within the last 10 years. And so there wasn't this openness, what should I say, the vehicle like podcasts for channelers to reach every point in the globe. And now, back in those days, 10, 12, 15 years ago, we were still, oh, this is all woo-woo crap. But now, on this show alone, I've had numerous channels and beings come through, and they're all beautiful and light-filled. And I think it shows how far, humanity really is going through an ascension process and an evolution.
Definitely. And, the huge thing about this is that we're the ones bringing it through. I think this is the part that we all forget, is that we are all connected to the bigger whole, and every single piece of us, every single one of us has a piece of the puzzle. And as we grow and expand and learn more about ourselves, it's inevitable that it's going to be brought through on a bigger scale, on the collective consciousness level.
Yeah. Well, this is wonderful. We're talking to Leanne Rose, the trans-channel voice for the Galayla Collective. Would your friends be interested in coming in and joining us right now?
Of course. I'm just going to pop my laptop on charge, because obviously they can't do that for me. And if it dies, it'd be a bit of a nuisance. So just to name for people that aren't familiar with my style of trance channeling, when they come through with a bizarre noise. It's the only way that we can make the connection. They call it kind of like a verbal handshake. It's how I help them make the bridge into my body. Also, they call me the girl. So if you hear them referring to the girl, that's me that they're talking about. Okay. A lot of people have been like, that's a bit of a patronizing term, but they assure me it's one of endearment.
All right. So awesome. So we're about to meet her friends, the Galayla Collective.
Hello, dear soul.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you very much, dear soul, for giving us a platform to spread our message aboard.
Well, I'm so grateful to have you here. What a pleasure and an honor to have you come through to talk to us. And I'm really, really curious, and of course I'll ask like 87 million questions. So I hope you're patient with me.
Of course, dear soul.
Why did you come up with the term Galayla Collective, and what a collective are you? Where are you from?
We are an interdimensional collective consciousness, always growing, always changing. We represent a galactic council that is very much about helping the earth to ascend to new levels of consciousness. You can think of us as non-physical entities that are somewhat familiar with human experiences. Some of our individuals, and we use this term loosely, that some individual pieces of our collective consciousness have been human in past lives. Some are very much scattered across the stars, and so not from any individual piece of the cosmos, dear soul. We represent a much bigger message than something that is just serving one particular species. Reason we chose Galayla Collective had a energetic ring to it that most represents our mission, dear soul. Very galactic in nature, but also somewhat grounded, as we are helping the girl to bridge the gap from multidimensional to the human self. And so the word had to ring true with this energy, had to fall off the tongue with a element of magic to it. Also, not very many humans can pronounce it correctly at first, and this gives us a chuckle.
Well, I like the name Galayla. I actually think it's, for lack of a better term, pretty. It's a very nice name. I like it.
Thank you, dear soul.
I am going to ask this too. You did mention that you're a collective from not necessarily any particular species. Now, on this show, I've spoken to Arcturians, I've spoken to Palladians, I've spoken to Syrians, and beyond. So really, you're not from those individual races. You, like you said, you really are a collective from throughout the universe.
Indeed, dear soul. Know that this new paradigm that humanity is moving into, no longer fixated on individual pieces of multidimensional self. Important piece now is to reclaim the entirety of multidimensional self. This is mainly humans' ways of still trying to claim an identity that is somewhat attached to the magic. When humans are saying, I am Pleiadian, I am Syrian, I am Octorian, they are still trying to separate themselves from their brothers and sisters, still trying to be individuated pieces of energy. We are here to introduce a new paradigm to help people to really reclaim the oneness inside of themselves.
This is so in alignment with what I study as a student of true spirituality, non-dualistic spirituality, that we are not separate. There is only an interconnectedness, as Lynn McTaggart calls it, the field, and Greg Braden calls it the divine matrix. So really, there is no separation. In the teachings of non-dualistic spirituality, it says that it's only an illusion. We dream that we're separate.
Indeed, dear soul. And this is a piece of you as a human self. Our human self believes the illusion of separation from source. But indeed, dear soul, much with the old paradigm of our spiritual teachings, focuses, for those of you that have already been integrating fifth dimensional consciousness, dear soul, such as yourself, have been very much about being rid of the ego, trying to be rid of the human self, to embrace the whole. And so next piece is here for you. Next piece is here for those souls who have reunited with the oneness, have touched upon this element within, and are ready to utilize the power of the oneness through the power of the one, the individuated piece of source energy as your human self, sovereign human self. And so we talk about ego as human self. For the ego is not a bad thing. When it is unbalanced, yes, of course, it will hold you away from your power. But your true power as creators of your reality, dear soul, is about integrating and balancing both the multidimensional self, the feeling of oneness, with the individuated piece of you as source energy, as your sovereign human self.
So let me make sure I understand this. So your main mission is to help humankind reclaim its multidimensional self. So in so doing, it helps us to let go of the ego.
Integrate the ego, dear soul. We are not helping you to let go of your human. We are helping you to become less attached to the old version of it. What we are helping you to truly step into is recognizing which pieces of you are attached to the individuated piece of you as source energy, which is your human self. The immature version of this is the ego. The mature version of this is the sovereign human. You, dear soul, are an individual piece of source energy, just as every single other being on the planet is, not just humans. The power that you yield as source energy, dear soul, does not come from reconnecting only with your oneness. This is simply a piece of the puzzle. You must embrace your oneness. You must get familiar with the energy of your oneness, for this is where your power comes from. But you must see your oneness through the lens of your sovereign human self in order to reach your fullest expression as a single individuated piece of source energy. Of course, nothing is separate, but you are source energy as the individual. And so source energy is experiencing itself through you. It is not about you trying to get rid of your human self to become source energy. It is about you reclaiming yourself, the human, as source energy, and learning to see your power through this lens. Does this make sense, dear sir?
Yes, it does to me. I mean, an analogy I've used to explain what you've said is, so we have an ocean, but each individual drop of water is separate yet part of the whole.
Indeed, dear sir. And if separate piece of water is trying not to be separate piece of water,
Right.
can you see it cannot really happen?
Right.
It must be that the whole is understood through the individual pieces. This is how source experiences itself. When you truly reclaim the magic of who you are, when you truly reclaim the beauty of what it is that you are, source energy, an individual piece of source energy experiencing itself, you relate to the world completely differently. You also access the frequency that allows you to change your external reality in a conscious way, because you are connected to the piece of you that is creating it.
So would this be right to make this statement? As long as I'm in a human body, it's synonymous with the ego. But our job is to eventually ascend and integrate the ego into our multidimensional self.
Slightly right, dear sir. You can understand it as this. We will drop the use of the term ego, for ego comes with very negative connotations for humanity at this time. Ego has been understood to be something to be rid of. Know that this is fifth dimensional consciousness energy. Ego is only there to be rid of when you are trying to reclaim multidimensional self. But this is only one piece of the puzzle, one step in the process. First, you experience yourself as the human, experience yourself as the ego, experience yourself as separate from source. This is a child phase of manifestation. Then you move to fifth dimensional consciousness or adolescent phase of manifestation. This is where you begin to deny your ego. You get rid of yourself as a human. You are beginning to recognize yourself as part of the whole, beginning to recognize the magic within. But as part of this piece of you, you are trying to deny the human within you. You are not connecting the two. You are trying to keep them separate. And so you still believe that you are separate, understand yourself? And when you move into adult phase consciousness, adult phase manifestation or sixth dimensional consciousness and higher, which is what we are teaching you to step into, this is where you truly begin to see that both the human self and the multidimensional self are needed in order for you to truly begin to harness your power as source energy. Source energy is a state of being, and the state of being cannot be experienced without the action, the doing, the physicality of the 3D. And so your power as source energy lies in your ability to straddle both the multidimensional self and the human self, and to truly enjoy the experience of integrating the two whilst you are still human. Understand, dear sir?
Wow, this is just some awesome, beautiful information. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm staying with a train of thought here. This is pretty good. I would like to find out. And number one, you already beat me. I was going to ask you about adult phase manifestation, but I do understand it's taking responsibility for your own power to create. Is that right?
Indeed, dear soul. When you step into adulthood, you take full responsibility for the consequences of your actions. Know that your internal world creates your external reality. This phrase has been on the planet for quite some time, but not truly understood to an embodied depth, dear soul. It is not just a cognitive understanding that you must have around this phrase. It is an embodied belief, an embodied truth. As you begin to shape your internal world, as you begin to recognize who you are, as you begin to truly align with the frequency of your power, you begin to see this reflected in your external world. Your internal world is what is creating the projection, creating the, we will call it an illusion of 3D, for you have already spoken of this word, dear soul. You can think of the external world as simply the projection of your internal reality. Imagine your brain being hooked up to a projector.
Mhm.
And of course, your brain here representing who you are as an individual piece of source energy, the frequencies that you are aligning with in your internal world, and your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body, your connection with the spiritual world will give you clues as to what your internal vibration is. But the biggest clues will be in your external reality. For imagine yourself being hooked up to a projector. Everything that is on the inside is being projected to you outside of yourself in the 3D world. Everything is a lesson. Everything is a way to understand yourself even further. When you begin to recognize, everything that is happening on the inside is being reflected to me on the outside. When you begin to take responsibility for everything that is happening on the inside, and you begin to watch how this then changes everything that is happening on the outside, this is when you are taking full responsibility for creating your reality. No more saying, this man cut me up in the street, and so this was this, and this was this, and I feel like a victim. You align with the internal element of you that wanted to create the situation. What was the lesson? What was the gift? How did it provide contrast for you so that you could experience the reconnection to your power? This is what adult phase manifestation is about. It is about becoming a source energy from the inside out and learning to see that you truly are creating everything that happens in the outside world. When you can see this, you can take charge of it.
Well, what you just said is so important for the people of the world to grasp onto, because as you well know, much of humanity sees themselves as a victim of the world. They don't understand, as you said, what you have on the inside of you is projected outwards, but that's what adult manifestation, phase manifestation is taking responsibility. I am the projector of my external world. It's so important for people to understand that now.
Indeed, dear soul. And no, of course, anybody that is still in this frame of mind, be patient with yourself. Your human is specifically designed to pull you back into this mentality. Know that this is because the human piece of you is designed to keep you in the game. You as source energy are enjoying yourself as you unfold into recognizing who you are in this human form. Source piece of you, your multidimensional self, does not want this to happen quickly. It wants it to happen slowly and juicily so that you can savor every piece, every moment, every step, every gradual movement towards the truth. And so your human self will continue to fight you upon this, no matter where you are upon your spiritual journey, dear soul. As long as you are focused in a human form, there will be a piece of you that believes the illusion of separation from source. And there will be a piece of you that challenges how you create your reality. This is why we call it co-creating your reality, because there are two pieces of you at play. Well, there are actually four pieces of you at play, but we will not complicate things.
Well, and I love that you mentioned co-create, because I think myself as a teacher of this, I have come to understand the importance of becoming a co-creator with the universe to create the what I like to say, living the life you love and loving the life you live.
Indeed, dear soul. And this new paradigm is very much about co-creation, but it is about recognizing that both pieces are you.
Well, I'm also very interested in it, and I saw this on your social media, where you teach things. You say that there is a new paradigm of the law of attraction, that the old basic understanding of the law of attraction no longer works. I'm really curious about that. Can you explain that?
Of course, dear soul. Old teachings of law of attraction energies very much based for fifth dimensional consciousness energy. Of course, this will be very relevant for people who are only just stepping into this. And so we are not saying that these teachings are completely useless, but to some of you who are stepping into the new paradigm now, they will be, because they are operating on old frequencies and you are stepping into the new. These old frequencies are still operating on the idea that the universe exists outside of yourself. New frequencies, recognizing that this power exists within. When you are talking about basic law of attraction things, you are still very much in between child and adolescent phase of manifestation. You are still very much disempowered as a being. And so you are using these rudimentary concepts to build a bridge to the piece of you that understands the greater picture. And so just as you could not imagine a kindergarten student to be wandering into college or university and knowing what to do, these teachings are still very important for people who have not yet dived into this element of consciousness. But of course, for those of you that have, you have been looking for the new. You have been asking for it to be better, and it is here, dear souls. It is here to support you into the next level of expansion, because of course, your earth is expanding also, and so you must too.
So I'm still a little bit unclear. I mean, the basics of the law of attraction, with everything being energy and like attracts like, I mean, that still works, right?
Of course, dear soul. Basics, everything is energy, everything is vibration. Like attracts like. When you are vibrating at certain frequency, you are attracting similar frequencies. These basics still very much a part of this paradigm. However, when implementing these teachings, when you are simply trying to connect to thoughts and feelings to introduce new reality, you do not have the basis of truth that you are the creator of your reality. And so you will never be able to truly begin to manifest the life of your dreams, because your ability to actively co-create your world, to actively, consciously create your reality will only come online when you are acquainted with the frequency within you that knows you are source energy, and not just in a way that is understood in the mind, but is felt upon all four sort of energy bodies. It has to be deeply, deeply embodied, deeply integrated. So, important piece here that Gal was meaning when she was putting out this content is that those of you who are ready to step into the next level, you will begin to see your manifestation ability slow down or stop altogether. This is because new paradigm is available to you. If you are still comfortable with old paradigm of manifestation, if it was still working, you wouldn't feel the need to look for the new. Those of you that are beginning to see reduction in your ability to manifest, are beginning to lose your love for the old ways of manifesting, are beginning to really see this is not working anymore. I don't understand what is happening. It will create a fear within you, contrast within you, that will make you go looking for the new. This is how the new frequencies are going to be drip, 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 drip fed, dear souls. And those of you who are becoming aware of these frequencies early on will be the ones that are truly at the forefront of integrating these frequencies upon the planet. But if you did not have these standstill, if you did not feel uncomfortable, then you would not be looking for them. Understand, dear soul?
Mm-hmm. Well, what exactly are, I mean, if this is something you can explain, what are these frequencies that you're talking about?
Excellent question, dear soul. And for this, we will have to explain something to you. You can see source energy almost as a giant brain, a giant mind. Of course, much more complicated than this, but we are trying to do this in a way that will not bamboozle your human brain. And so, there are infinite amount of dimensions, dear soul. 9 core ones that we talk of, but infinite amounts that fragment off from these 9 core dimensions. You can think of these individual dimensions as parts of this brain, parts of the mind. Every single time you experience a profound perception shift, dear soul, you are actually shifting into a different dimension. Just an interesting fact for you there. Mm-hmm. But you can think of individual pieces of source energy as the individual brain cells or the individual atoms of the mind. We will keep it simple and say brain cells for now, dear soul. So imagine that you are an individual brain cell of this huge source mind, universal mind. When you are drawing in new frequencies, drawing in new energies, what you are actually doing is taking up more space within the mind. When you are introducing the multidimensional self, you are accessing different brain cells of this same mind. And so what we mean by new frequencies is higher levels of information, higher levels of self-knowledge. You are taking up and accessing far more of this brain, far more of yourself as source energy. You are able to hold more and more and more. We talk about this as a frequency in terms of our energy, because of course everything is energy, dear soul, but it is about how fast it vibrates. The more information that you are holding, the faster the vibration, the higher the frequency. Because the more of source energy that you are integrating in, the closer you are getting to truly embodying oneness. Does this make sense, dear soul?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is some beautiful information, so needed for mankind to hear. Expanding myself here too. We're talking to the Galayla Collective, coming through our friend Leanne Rose in England. Such a beautiful teaching here. You know, what is there a timeline for mankind's enlightenment and ascension, or should we just allow it to unfold beautifully in the right way at the right time?
We have been talking about this very often with girls students and our students, of course. Time is very much attached to third dimension and fourth dimension, of course. And so placing time limits upon things, very human thing to do. Very much in accordance with our belief in the illusion of separation from source. Of course, humanity's ascension is already done, dear soul. You are already source energy. In a way, there is nothing to be done. You are simply experiencing the unfolding. And so this need for humanity to be ascended now is a very human element. This is the piece of you that believes the illusion of separation from source. It wants the quote unquote suffering to be over because it does not recognize the value in it. Does this make sense, dear soul?
Yes, absolutely.
Also, very important to note that whenever our predictions of future are made, can change in an instant anyway. And so even if we were to give you any kind of time scale, which of course we will not, given the information we have shared with you. But important for those of you who go to our readers, our channelers, and are wanting future information, very important for you to know that a single change of perspective within you will completely shift what it is that the channeler or reader is seeing. And so not always, we understand that human self needs reassurance around these things, but very important for you to understand the limitations around questions such as these.
You know, speaking of limitations, you know, of course, the vast majority of humanity is still stuck in the 3D. What is the best advice that you can give people right now whose lives are enveloped in fear and stress by all they see on the world news and their own limiting beliefs?
Make the choice to drop in to the stillness of the breath. Everything around you is simply reflecting your vibration. You are pulling in fear, dear souls. This is not helpful to hear when you are in it. We understand this. But dear souls, everything that you could possibly need is waiting within you. You have a deeper connection to such magic if you will simply allow your brain to settle and allow your body to feel this beautiful peace within. It is a choice, dear souls. If there is a part of you that is telling you, no, it is not a choice, I am inflicted with this is your victim, dear soul. and very important to understand the victim archetype. No judgment here, dear souls. The victim, very important for giving you contrast to all that you are, which is powerful being of light. But for your own individual experience, very important for you to note that this is what is happening for you. Very many souls, when they are introduced to spirituality, go through periods of depression, anxiety, being removed from their power, very much a part of the process, dear souls. A girl went through this also, very much wanting not to be in this world anymore. This is what gives you the push to go looking for something different. In the same way that when manifestation stops for you with old paradigm, you go look for something different. In a similar way, when you are feeling fear, feeling as though you do not want to be here, feeling as if earth is a shambles, allow it to guide you to the spirit within.
I truly hope that every viewer and listener who are tuning into this latch on to what you just said, that everything that we need as an individual is already within us, connected to all that is.
Indeed, dear soul. And connecting with other like-minded souls that have awakened these pieces within them will be very helpful for your energy, because of course, like attracts like. And so by placing yourself in these areas, this is the other bit about old law of attraction teachings. Very much operating from element of you are at whim of the universe, you are at whim of energies, but you can choose which energy to be in, dear soul. Place yourself in feelings of discomfort. Place yourself in the feelings of I wish I could be around these people. I feel uncomfortable. My human self tells me I do not fit in. If you allow yourself to feel these feelings and allow yourself to be brought into the new frequency, still experience the internal discomfort of the human as you move into this vibration, you will get there much faster. And so, speaking of the like attracts like element of this, use this to your advantage. Place yourself with other people who are vibrating at a different frequency that you prefer. It will be uncomfortable, but this is the reason to do it, dear soul. The old vibrations, the old pieces of you must be let go of. They will cling. They will tell you that they cannot be let go of. But your power in this is choosing something new.
Wow, everything you're saying offers each of us a beautiful chance and a choice of freedom, freeing ourselves.
Indeed, dear soul. You truly do have, many of you, dear soul, you crave freedom. You believe that freedom exists in a job, in money, in a partnership. This is an illusion. Freedom exists within.
Wow.
And the funny thing about this, dear soul, is that when you find this frequency, this is then what creates those external things that you thought you needed.
Thank you for all that. You know, I'm going to shift gears here, and I'm pretty good at this. I understand that you are able to communicate with my personal guides, and I was wondering if you feel like it. Is there anything that my guides feel like I should know, or you would like to communicate to me right now?
Of course, dear soul, bear with us while we build bridge.
Okay.
Guide's showing us a young boy. Feeling a little lost in the world. Feels like somewhat of an outcast. Problems at home, particularly with father energy. But Guide's showing you every single piece that unfolded in the ways that it did. The difficulties with other people, the difficulties with beings of own age, older, even family connections. Every single piece of it was to shape the beautiful human that you are today. Every single piece of it was designed to show you a contrast so that you could move into your heart. Whenever you saw something that was an affront to your soul, an affront to your being, people who were very violent in nature, unkind, cruel, it created a frequency within you. It created the contrast in order for you to experience what it is that you truly wanted to seek in this world, dear soul. It is what drove you. And so our guides telling you, very important for you to love those pieces of you that did not fit in. For beautiful phrase that we see a lot. If you feel you do not belong in this world, dear souls, it's because you are here to create a new one. This is particularly true of your energy, dear soul. I'm bringing in such wise teachings, showing us do you know that you are connected to an ascended master, dear soul, and that much of the wisdom that you channel is from this place?
Wow, no, I didn't know that.
Adwan, dear soul. He gives us this name for you to connect with him in a more conscious way should you wish to.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if you want to give me that name now or after we're done with the show.
It was Adwan, dear soul. Adwan.
Okay. Thank you, Adwan. You know, when I teach or I write, especially when I write, I just sit down and I say, work through me, speak through me, let me be your vehicle. And then all of a sudden, I write out several pages and then I look at it, I go, did I write that? and I believe it's Adwan or, spirit just coming through me.
Indeed, dear soul, you are channeling in a very beautiful way. And this is spilling out organically as you interact with other elements, other beings, people, dear soul. It is happening and moving through organically, even when you are unaware of it.
One other, and I'm going to get off of the subject of me here in a moment. I just very curious. Many of the people, the light workers and the new thought people and that I know around the world, they see energy aura and they have experiences when angels visit them at night. And I have none of that. And I finally have come to decide it's my journey. This is my journey right now that I chose to be this way.
Indeed, dear soul. Acceptance is key. But of course, if you wish to experience multidimensional self in a more visceral way, this can, of course, be arranged.
I might talk to you about that. So,
yes, sir.
Well, we're going to let you go. I have one last question here before we let the beautiful Galayla Collective go. Why did you choose this particular human body named Leanne Rose to come through? Why her?
She is a particularly forceful individual in a gentle and loving way. Perfect balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. She is cringing as we are spilling this information. But she is the perfect bridge, dear soul, to harnessing multidimensional self, harnessing the human self, for she embraces both elements with an equal amount of wonder, love, and awe. And of course, element of her being dispatched from her physical form, meaning that she can play with energy, communicate in a completely different way, very, very, very helpful for us to utilize. Of course, we were somewhat involved with this process. It is a bit of a mismatch for human brains to be able to understand how this was always going to come into being, and it was more that the girl chose us as we chose the girl, if this makes sense, dear soul.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, my beautiful friends, Galayla Collective. What you have told us today is just phenomenal, mind and heart expanding, and much, much needed. So I'm so grateful. Thank you.
The gratitude is all ours, dear soul. Sending you and your listeners, of course, oodles and oodles of love. Goodbye, dear one.
Bye.
Oh,
Welcome back, Leanne.
thank you. Please
Wow.
excuse the panda eyes. My mascara always runs.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't have that problem with them. Wow, that was phenomenal. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your message resonated with you.
Well, and too, that's so funny. When I asked them why did they choose Leanne Rose, they said you were cringing in the background when they explained you're like the perfect match of divine masculine and feminine energy to come through. So
it was actually really interesting though, because I've not asked them that question before. So thank you for asking that, even if it was a little bit cringeworthy for me.
Well, that was really, really amazing. I mean, some just phenomenal, beautiful, beautiful information. And I'm so grateful. The important question now that all my viewers and listeners know about you, how can they connect with Leanne Rose and the Galayla Collective? Where can they find you online?
So we tend to live on Instagram. Obviously, of course, at some point I am going to be introducing my website. It will take a little while to get that up and running. But over on Instagram, you can find me at Sacred Starseed Awakening. You could also email me, which is leanne@leannerose.uk. And when we have eventually got our website set up, it will be www.thegalaylacollective.com.
And I believe you're also on TikTok too. You're a pretty good presence there.
I am, yes. Yeah. The Galayla Collective aren't as present over there because I find that TikTokers are not as not as welcoming of the channeling scene. They can be a bit judgmental, but yeah, you'll find it little me dropping some wisdom bombs over on TikTok as well. And that the handle over there is at Sacred Starseed Awaken.
Okay. Yeah, right. I saw that. And I really highly encourage everybody to connect with Leanne because she has some beautiful classes, the 6D manifestation classes and the adult phase manifestation, and so much great wisdom and teaching. So Leanne, thank you. I love talking to you. I hope we can stay connected and talk some more.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for having me, Carl. It's been amazing.
This has been another episode of World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with host Carl Gruber, a certified law of attraction life coach. We welcome you to tune in to each and every episode of World Awakenings as we open your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now more than ever awakening to the truth of all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how much they play an all-important role in our moment-to-moment daily life. Much love and light to you, my friend, and thank you for tuning into World Awakenings.